Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 19 of our Transport Fever 2 Let's Play. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We are just taking a look at the Twickenham Regional Airport, we should probably call it. So we're just flying out of Twickenham. And this is actually working really well. We got 14 passengers waiting behind, so we're getting full loads of passengers getting on these Junker aircraft, making their way down here to Yateley. And let's take a look here. We got two waiting. We do have some waiting down here at the bus stop to go into Yateley, so this is running pretty well. Definitely more traffic coming from Twickenham down to Yateley. And let's just do a quick comparison of these two cities here. Yeah, Yateley is much larger than Twickenham, so I guess that kind of makes sense. People go into the quote-unquote big city of Yateley, which is good. But anyway, I think one way that we could improve this is I want to connect up some other modes of transportation to this this little airport here. And I think the way that we're going to do that is I'm going to link in a rail line here from Hythe running over to the airport. So let's see how we want to do that. And I think this is actually set up pretty well, because Hythe's train station is at such an elevation that I think we could get over there across this rail line without conflicting with it at all, which is pretty good. Now, one thing that I do want to take a look at is just the layout of this station here. So I'm just going to speed this up for a moment to get that train out of there. And now, I believe this is 100 and... I don't even think it's 100 and... Okay, yeah, so it's 160. I want to bring it up to 240, so we're going to have to add on 2 sections to that. So let's come through here. We'll just pause it very briefly. Delete out a bunch of this. And then let's go ahead and add on 2 more platforms there. And unfortunately, the styles are going to conflict. You can see like the platform styles and all that. So what I think we're going to do, let's come in here and let's delete out these old platforms. Oh man, but it's going to delete the buildings, because I was hoping to keep the old buildings, but it's not going to let me do that. So that's okay. I was hoping to kind of renovate the station while keeping the old buildings. I thought that would have looked pretty cool. So this inner platform here, this is going to be for the airport. So that's going to run straight to the airport. And then I'm going to add in... Now, why it won't let me add this in? I wonder if it's conflicting with that. Yep, that's exactly what it was. And then these tracks are going to be the kind of the intercity tracks. So let's go ahead and add on our other platform there. Now we will come into passenger buildings. We can add our station buildings back in there. And now let's go ahead and get some underpasses in here so that, you know, they can walk between. Maybe something like that. So that's our new station there. I'm going to back this out even further because I'm going to make this connection in here. I want that to be fill. And I don't want catenary on there. Perfect. And I don't need to run this second line just yet, although I'm sure, you know, in the near future, we're going to have to. And just because we move this over slightly, let's come in here and just clean this up a little bit. Grab a little grass. Just kind of blend that in, make that look nice. Okay. So now there's a problem here because it wants to go to the wrong line. So this is our rail line, Hive, Skeleton to Hive. Yeah, so at this platform, go to platform 3. There we go. So now we can let this run. That works. And now we can take this rail line and branch it off down here to the airport. And what I think we're going to do is we're just going to come in here with a 160 meter platform, I think. I don't think it needs to be huge, although maybe. And we're just going to go ahead and add that in right here with no catenary. We don't have electric... we don't have enough electric trains just yet to warrant the catenary. I'm just going to smooth all this out right here. So that looks nice. That's connected up. Let's see if we have maybe some bushes that would look nice. Maybe we do like a tree there. Maybe like 3 trees there. Something like that. I think that looks nice. And now this is encatchment of all of this, which is perfect. It's exactly the way that we want it. Just going to pause this so that I can get a track to come out of there. So let's grab a track. Now that I'm thinking about it, how many lines are we going to have coming down here? Probably a couple. I don't know if we're going to need pass-throughs down here, potentially. So why don't we just go ahead and build it out kind of for the future. And let's come into here. Add these in. And add our covers on there. Okay. So now we can get these tracks through here. So I'm just going to pull them straight through for now, keeping them flat. Just like that. We'll do a 30 mile an hour merge here. And then we'll come back here with our road. Pull that through. And that looks pretty good. Although I might back that out just a little bit, just to get a little bit more gradual of a climb on there. And then make that connection. And now we can let this run. Nothing is broken. This is all working. Perfect. Okay. And now, just so that we get in the habit of it, I'm just going to protect that road with some signals. And now we're just going to bend this track around here. Do I need 2 tracks right off the bat? Yeah, probably. I'll just take 2 tracks down here and we'll make it work. So I'm going to make a turn here. Maybe a 60 mile an hour turn. Maybe something like that. And now we're coming straight down here, and I'm going to need to bridge across this waterway while leaving enough space for the boats to cross underneath. So I'm kind of thinking that that will be enough for them to cross underneath. So now if we kind of start to level that off. I just want this to snap so that it's going nice and straight across here. Pull it to maybe there. Pull it a little bit further. And let's make this, yeah, some kind of a girder bridge like that. And I do actually need to redo this portion as well. And now we'll come back to ground. However, one thing that we should consider is that we are going to be climbing quite significantly to get up here. So with that being said, if I kind of pull this up here, just to see what this wants to do. This is going to be fill all throughout here. So let's see, where does this want to snap? Yeah, right about there. I'm just going to put that in. I think we're going to end up redoing that, but let's just see what this would look like. So in order to get that down to there, so I'm going to back this out one more. Let's see what it looks like. If I bring that up and connect that in. So that does give us plenty of space in there and actually curves in there pretty nicely. And then this actually looks pretty good. It's fairly smooth going all the way down there. So I kind of like how that looks. So I'm going to put that in. But now we need to redo some of this because this is not all going to be bridge. So that's going to be fill there. This will all be fill as well. So let's connect that in. Make that fill. And then this portion is a bridge. But it's not going to be the old wooden bridge. It's going to be something a little bit more modern. And I wish I could make this span a little bit shorter. So let me grab this. Let's see if I kind of... Oh, let me see. So if I kind of just pull that to there... and it really doesn't want to connect there. So I might just have to live with that being a bit bigger and just go with something like that. Still though, that looks totally fine. So that is going to run down to the airport. So let's get our first line set up here. Coming down to the airport. I am also thinking of branching off a line here so that potentially we could get guys from Karlshalton up here to the Twickenham airport. That could be interesting. So if we were going to do that, we already have a merge here. It could come up here. So let me see if I just take out a couple of those signals. And I actually just noticed that this is not at the right level. This is kind of overflowing a little bit, so I'm just going to pause this for a moment. Yeah, and that looks much better. It's following the same general path. And then we can connect that up there. And then this needs to be a double switch. Yep, there we go. Knew I was forgetting something. Okay. However, we are going to be adding in branch off here. So let's go 40 miles an hour to get off. We'll do something like this. Again, 40. And now we're off. And now this is going to curve around. And let's see, if we come down to a little bit more flat area, and I just want to see what side we should be building this on. So we should be building this on the left side. So we're going to have another set of tracks here. Maybe coming up to about there. And then this is going to branch off. Like this. And it's going to tie in there. So I kind of want to pull this, you know, kind of over to here. Let's actually see if I were to connect that up. What are we colliding with? Okay, so we're colliding with that. So it looks like I need to branch off a little bit before we try and connect up so that it doesn't collide. And that's going to drop us down into the 40s. That's okay, though, because this is right before merge. So I don't necessarily mind so much that it's doing that. So let's bring this back in. And then let's get a merge in here. So let's go up to 40. Bring this down to there. And we'll bring that into 40. And now these two tracks are going to branch off going down this way. Which would make this single track going all the way up to Hythe. And I think for now, we're only going to have one train on there. And if we need to come back and kind of double this up, we can in the future. But I think that this will work. So as far as signaling goes, I'll want a non-one-way signal coming back here. And I'll want a one-way signal there and there. And then this is going to run down to here. And I will want a one-way signal here. And let's put the other one-way signal right about there. And then this whole area is going to be a block. And I think that that will work. So then they'll be able to come off here. Why don't I put another set of signals right in the center? Because that's a pretty long span in there. So I think that they should be able to manage two trains in there if need be. And now we're just going to carry this on down here. Bring it all the way across this bridge. Tying it in there, and then I think we will put our cross in right before this road. So we'll just put that in there. And instead of putting it there, I'm going to add that signal there. So they essentially won't cross over and go into a platform. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so that's working. So let's get some more signals on here. This road is gonna have to go, and we'll have to rethink that. And then I'll also curve this so that that's a little bit smoother. Now, as far as this road goes, connecting this up, I could kind of branch this off here. Curve it down through there, and then bring this up here. Kind of branch it in there. Just for now, that kind of reconnects these facilities, these Twickenham industries, so that, you know, people can get there. But okay. So now this is connected up. So let's get our first line on here. So if we come into new lines, we will go from Hive down here, and I'm not sure what the issue is. Ah, yeah, so here it is. So they have no way of getting back over once they come back. So let's bring that up to 40. There we go. So now that works. Let's put a set of signals there. Maybe a set there. Yeah, I think that works. Maybe a set there. These are pretty long spans, so we can get a few signals in there. Okay, so we have this new line in here. Let's make it like a dark, kind of a dark red, kind of like that. And they're going to go right into here. Let's have them wait for full load for 60 seconds, as we do with all of our passenger trains. And this is going to be our rail line from Hive to Twickenham. Okay. And now we just need a way of getting trains on there. And unfortunately, we don't have a depot kind of in the area. So potentially we could add one in. So let's yeah, let's add one in. Let's branch off maybe about here. Pull that out to there, and then let's add this on. Right there. And then we can even connect this up with a road. Not necessary, but just kind of for continuity. Okay, so now if we come in here, we're going to have to buy a train. Now, what kind of train do we want? Maybe a BR75. It's fairly cheap, half the price of an A35. Still goes pretty fast, and can move a good number of passengers. We're going to be limited to these six-wheelers and these Donnerbusch trains. So let's go ahead and maybe get something like that. Actually, these look more first class. So let's get something like that. Let's make it the dark red. And let's get it on that line. And now if we kind of speed this up, hopefully we will start to get some passengers. And you can actually see that these can still go under this bridge. Although we might want to do some waypoints through here. So let's get a waypoint going there and there. And now let's come on to here. So let's figure this out. So coming up this way, they're going to go Twickenham 9 to Twickenham 8. So let's see. Twickenham 9 to Twickenham 8. So if I add that on, they're going to do some weirdness. I might just let them do some weirdness at this bridge. Because they're not really conflicting, and they're getting through, and the pillars of this bridge don't really line up particularly well. So I guess we'll be okay with that. Okay. So that is fine. I'm also going to rename this bus to plane and train, because it is heading up here. Okay, so we have that rail line in there. Now, I also added on this section of rail to be able to take a train from Carshalton up there. And now, I don't know if you recall, but we used to actually have a platform in here that we were using. So I'm going to go ahead and add that back in. And let's get the coverings on there. Let's actually come through here and replace all of these coverings. With the new ones. And I'm actually going to remove it from the last one. Okay, so we now have a platform on there. So we can grab this track, pull this out here. And now where is going to be the best place to merge in? I imagine it would be right before this, so that they can use... So let's bring that out to 40 miles an hour. And then if we bring this over here and connect that in, that will work. Now all we need is a one-way signal here and a non-one-way signal here. And that should allow this track to get onto our main line, work its way all the way up here, where it then branches off and runs down towards Twickenham. And I'm actually going to come in here, I'm going to flip this to platform 2, just once that gets out of the way. So I'll just get that out of the way so that I can flip this to the other platform. Like that. Still functions perfectly fine. And now let's go ahead and add on this line. So it's going to come from Carshalton all the way up here to Twickenham, to the airport. And yes, it is using the platform that I wanted it to. Let's see, how does a purple? There's no conflict on here for the purple. Yeah, so let's go with that. And let's do 60 seconds for all these lines. Just like that. And now let's come into here and rename this. So this is going to be our Carshalton to Twickenham rail line. And now we can go ahead and get a train onto here, potentially using this depot here. So let's buy a new train. We'll also go with a BR-75. It'll essentially be the same train that we just put on the other line. And let's get this on the Carshalton to Twickenham line. And it should come out of there and make its way down. Yeah, and I think that that's going to work. And now we should have some passengers just kind of making their way down to Twickenham. You know, maybe to get on the plane, maybe to go into Twickenham itself. Upgrade a little bit more of this road just to make that a little bit faster bus ride. And we do actually have quite a few passengers, and I'm curious if we watch, all of these passengers that just took the train are making their way out. And I'll be interested to see if they go over to the airport. Yes, some are going to the airport. Most are going into Twickenham itself. That's pretty good, though. And I might go ahead and get another plane on here. Just because we do have a pretty good number of passengers. This only carries 3, so once we get the better planes, I think we're going to do a lot better with those passengers. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm just going to take a minute and let's clean up some of this. And let's take off some of these trees here, just so that they're not quite so close to the train. And we'll just pull that down. And then we'll grab some grass. Make this a little bit larger. Something like that. And now let's add in... Let's find the right tree. Let's grab a brush. And just add in some trees there. Is this one too close? No, I think that's okay. Okay. So now we got some trees in there, and then just the last little thing that I wanted to do, I like to grab some of this rock. And just put a little rock there, like as if they had brought in some stone for the ends of these fills. Nice. And then I'll come along and clean up the rest of this line off camera later on. But I think for the most part that's doing really well. This is the Hythe to Twickenham, so that's getting decent passengers. And let's see... I don't think our other train has actually made it to a station yet. Carshalton... Not sure where that train is. That's the Hythe to Twickenham. Let's see if we can find it. Carshalton to Twickenham. Okay, so it has made it all the way down. So it picked up 6 passengers, making its way back to Carshalton, where there are 8 waiting. So we are getting... You know, we are getting some interest in the line, which is good. Just gonna get a couple more trucks on there. And man, we have so much food. So much food piling up here. Tenerden and Norton both have huge amounts of food. Now, the food going down to Norton is going on our massive electric train here, which already carries 72. So I don't want to diminish the grain too much, because this grain is feeding so many areas, so many different facilities. You come in here, Carshalton and Duckenfield. However, the Tenerden line, if we go into the Tenerden line, we try and find this train. Yeah, so it's all the way up here, so I'm going to add on a new train Unfortunately, it came out up here. So we're going to need to kind of watch those and space them out a little bit. I don't want them completely on top of one another. But that should help us move a lot more of that food, definitely. So, hopefully that gets pretty far out ahead. I can stop this train for a minute while it's here in Tenerden. And man, we just have massive passenger numbers here. So let me take a look here. If I grab a station, I believe this is 160. Yeah, it is. So if we go on to this, and I'm just going to pause this train for a moment while I do this. So if I go into these trains, are these max length yet? No, they can get a little bit longer. So why don't we make them a little bit longer? Something like this. So that brings them up to 144 with 152 capacity. And hopefully that will kind of allow these to work a little bit better. And now let's start up that food train again. Let's see if we can find where the other one is. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. Well, not sure where the other food train is. I'm sure we will find it eventually. Yeah, no idea. It might honestly be on its way back already. I just can't imagine that it would have made it down there that fast. That's okay, though. These silver trains are doing really well. They're moving a lot of... they're moving a lot of goods and silver, which is great. Now, one thing that I did want to do here in Skelton, I think Skelton could use a tram. Skelton is huge, one of our largest cities. If we actually go into our city statistics here and sort by size, yeah, Skelton is our largest city. And I think a tram network would do really well in Skelton. And I also just think reworking what's going on here in general would work really well. So I think what we're going to do is I might run kind of this loop here, coming up to here. So let's get rid of that stop. I'm going to get rid of both of those. Let's come in here. And let's add in some new stops. So we have stops there. Maybe stops there. There. They'll loop in there. And stop like that. And now let's come in here with tram tracks. Get trams linked all the way up here. And now if we come into this line... Oh, we just got the Flying Scotsman and new planes. Flying Scotsman is an awesome train. Okay. So from Park Road, and this is the counterclockwise, so it's going to be running this way. So from Park Road, go here, here, there, and then back down this way. So that's the first one. And now let me see if I grab this. And now this one's going to be running the opposite direction. Up into there. And then down this way. Like that. Perfect. And these are... Yeah, I guess they're already popping up as trams, which is kind of interesting, because I haven't switched them over yet. But they are running on tram tracks. So this is going to now be the tram to train. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to need to fit a tram depot in here. This is kind of our industrial area of the city. So it would make sense to kind of fit it in maybe right there. And now let's come in here, go to tram, and we are going to sell all these. So we have 6 of these on here, which each have 8 capacity. So we have 48 capacity on the line that we need to deal with. So let's sell all of these. And now, let's buy some trams. We're going to go with these tutus, whatever you want to, however they're pronounced. These have a capacity of 21, so I might get 4 on each line, not 48. And let's make them green. And now let's put 4 on the counterclockwise and 4 on the clockwise. Okay, so now this is servicing pretty much the majority of the city over here. They're actually reaching all the way up to these, which is good. Another thing that we could do, these are industrial buildings. So these demand fuel. And we're getting tons of fuel drop off here, but we are not actually getting it onto this side. So I kind of want to do something like this to give some catchment over here. Now I am going to delete out this road so that I can get a new road in here. Something like that. And that allows us to get catchment over here so that when goods are dropped off, they'll get dropped into here. Now, these trains, let's come in here. Let's get the Flying Scotsmans on here. They bring us all the way up to 75 miles an hour, which is awesome. They don't exceed our platform length, which is good. But now if we come down into here, these trains just look awesome. I mean, like, when I think of an English, you know, countryside steam locomotive, that is what you picture. The Flying Scotsman. These are awesome trains. And they should get up to... That one's going uphill, but I think for the most part they should get up to speed very well. Now the other line that I think will need them, let's do Skelton to Hythe. Let's come in here and get Flying Scotsmans. That should also work great. Now those are going to be faster than our A35s, so... There might be some issue with them interfering with the cargo trains, but I don't think it should be too much of an issue. So let's come in here. I also saw that we got new planes. So we got these Dornier. They carry 5. They also go significantly faster. So let's get a couple of those. And they're actually much larger planes than the Junkers. So those should be very good. That should be very good for that line. Okay. So I think we're doing pretty good. Now, another thing that I wanted to do, if we go into our size here, Skelton, we just added trams in there. Tenerden, if we go to Tenerden, another very large city. So let's come into Tenerden here. And I want to think about kind of how Tenerden's tram network would work if we were to add in trams here. So if we come into Tenerden and just kind of take a look at this bus layout as we have it right now. So there's no stop along here. This is a really long stretch. They're kind of doing this odd thing coming up into here and then running back down. Now, one thought that I have is I do a small bus network up here that ties into a tram network here. So if we were to do that, let's just see how that would work. So if I grabbed a street, kind of pulled it down here, let's upgrade this street. And let's upgrade that street. So we have a bus stop here. Might add, excuse me, another stop there. So that's 2 stops there. I might shift this one to be more central. Something like that. So let's come in here and let's sell all of these vehicles. And now let's reroute this line. So this is our counterclockwise line. So this one's going Church Lane to Queen and then back down. So it's not going to go to Church Street or Church Lane. It's also not going to go to Manor. So after North, we're going to come over here. Don't go to Manor. So after Park, come up here, go here. You're not going to go to Queen. You're going to come down here. So now our other line, not going to Manor, not going to Church, not going to Church Lane. You're not going to Queen Street. You'll come down this way, like that. So now we can delete these stops and check our line, make sure it's working. Come in here with the tram track tool. And add tram tracks all along there. These are now going to be tram lines. And they'll be tram to trains. Just like that. And now let's take a look at where we could add in our tram depot. So if we come in here and grab the tram depot, could add it in there, could add it in right here. And then I think I will relocate this road depot a little further out of town. Maybe to there. Just so that there's a space for them to kind of populate into there. So now let's get maybe 3. This isn't quite as long as Skelton. So I think 3 would work just fine on each line. So counterclockwise and clockwise. So that'll get some trams on there. And now I want to have a little bus circulator running from here, because you can see this doesn't quite reach all the way up here. And I just hate the way that this city has developed, so I might come through here and add a road just kind of running up there. Branch a road off there so I can delete that. pull that straight off, curve that in at a 90, connect that in there. And then I'm going to move this road depot once again. I'm just going to just kind of cram it in right there. Okay. So now we have a nice little road setup. So we got a bus stop here. Let's add another set of bus stops here. Maybe one here. Just checking the height. Don't want any ridiculous height changes going on. And then maybe one here. And then those will connect with these bus stations there. So this one is going to go around like that. And this is going to need waypoints, obviously. So let's add in some waypoints there. And there. So now if we grab this line, so after Mill Lane, go here. And then after Manchester, go here. And let's make this maybe a really dark green. Kind of like that. So this will be a bus route. Tenerden, bus 1, and this is clockwise. And now this one is going to go the other way. We'll make it the darkest green again. And this will be our counterclockwise. Now we can kind of let this run again. Let's get some buses on here. Again, might get 3 on each line. So let's get these 3 there. These 3 there. Yeah. And now, I just think that that's going to function a little bit better. I think they'll kind of, you know, if somebody's up here and they want to get down to the train, they'll hop on the bus, go around, interchange at this stop, and then make their way down on the tram to the station. And it kind of splits like our downtown, you know, residential area with the nice trams, and then more of our industrial business area with, you know, not trams. Man, I love these Flying Scotsmans. Just awesome trains. I think this is working really well. Just out of curiosity, what is the Ferry Hill to Yateley? Ooh, that's actually a really long line. That could actually probably do with a Flying Scotsman. Where's that train at? Not sure, but we can just find it like this. Let's get a Flying Scotsman on there. As well as a couple more carriages. Perfect. Alright guys, this is going to bring us to the end of this episode. If you made it this far in the video and you enjoyed it, definitely consider subscribing to the channel. Leaving a like and a comment really helps with the engagement on the video. Plus, I just love getting the comments. Try to respond to them, you know, as regularly as I can. And until the next time, I'll see you guys, so have a great day. Thanks.